So you probably realize at this stage of your life that it's not your genetics, it's not your routine, it's not how busy you are, it's not your metabolism either. But if you can't get lean, then you're most likely making this brutal error and mistake in your life every single day. And it's not your diet either, right? It's not down to the food you're trying to consume or your macros or all this kind of stuff. It's down to your beliefs, brother. Right? You still identify as someone that you're not actually trying to be anymore. There's that little guy inside you that's still craving escape, craving silence, craving a feeling of fullness. And that's what's keeping you stuck in this proverbial trap where you can't seem to stick to your macros because one, you lack a system and strategy. Yes, we're going to get into that. But two, you've not addressed the real limitations within your own mind, which is actually holding you back from achieving the level of consistency and discipline you actually want, because you're at a stage of your life right now, like very similar to all of my current clients in VIP or CEO. You're already doing pretty well. You've got some big ideas. You're maybe crushing it with your career. You're maybe building on your business, but at the same time, there's that silent thought in your mind that pops up now and again, creeps in now and again, and completely derails you because you're still identifying as who you once were and identifying with the old problems in which you once had, but you're actually moving forward in life and stepping into a new realm in reality, which quite frankly feels fake, it feels false. And you probably are watching this video right now thinking, fuck Lewis, I just want to learn why I'm not getting lean, but trust me, stay with me on this if your attention span allows. Because this is the real stuff from what I've learned from years of mindset coaching, performance coaching, physique development coaching, high performance coaching. Like, what you currently think is the problem most likely isn't actually the problem. It's the deep-seated beliefs in which you have, which actually are keeping you stuck in the paradigm, which stops you addressing the real problem. You're always looking to put a plaster on the bullet wound, and this is something we always address first and foremost with any of our clients, which is the relationship, right, in which you actually have with yourself. That's the biggest one. The biggest relationship you're ever going to have is the one you have with yourself. Then from there is food, right? And both of them go hand in hand, because if you don't like you, then you're most likely going to use food as a vice. Even if you're quite successful, you're always going to binge, you're always going to snack, you're always going to overeat, you're always going to cut a corner, make an excuse and blame it on the time, the energy. Oh, food's expensive. You know food's not expensive. You're making bank. You're on minimum 6-7 figures a year already. Don't ever give me that excuse. You know that's not the case. But bro, if we can't address the deep-seated beliefs in which are currently keeping you stuck, then you'll never be free. And it's only when you come to a stage of life when you're in full peace with yourself and that you can actually transcend and start doing the things which will make you whole again. And as a high-performing guy, you need precision, you need competence, you need energy, you need to have a repeatable system every single day that you can follow. Otherwise, you will fail. You're always going to be in second place and you're always going to beat yourself up knowing that you could have been so much more, but you've not done the work. You've done some of the work, but not all of the work. And you want to have that competence in your body. You want to have a lean, sharp physique. You're not trying to be a bodybuilder. You're not trying to be some kind of muscle nerd or whatever. But you want to have a lean, hard physique. You want to have the rounded shoulders, the dense neck and traps, tight waistline, abs popping. We all do. Well, I especially do, right? All the clients that I work with, they want that more than so many things. They get to a point where it's like, no amount of money is even making me happy anymore. I just want a really solid bill of health. I want my blood style done. I want to have a lean, hard physique. I want to look the part. I want my physique to command a level of respect, which I've not managed to give myself yet because I've not done the work. So for you, right, get to fucking know yourself. Get to fucking know yourself a little bit deeper. Understand what is actually holding you back. Why do you feel so held back? Why do you lack the commitment, right? Because I'm going to run through the exact system you will need to follow from a dietary standpoint if you want to get lean, because this works for me. especially works really, really well for all my clients, and it's been a tried and tested system which time and time again will always yield results. It's precision. It's what we would do if we were a Formula One race car. We'd fuel it properly so it can be a peak performance day in, day out. It can hit the racetrack and smash it. Right, and it's going to come down to how you set your food up. And I've spoke about this in a previous video on the 5-2 approach with dieting. I've also spoke about it with the 2-1 approach with dieting. But you want to be setting up your diet for competence first and foremost. Fuck your macros, fuck your protein, fuck all this. But meal timing is so important. Meal timing is so important. A lot of bad behaviors in relationships come to their food because they don't have a solid structured meal timing and flow. And I'm going to coach based upon me and share the principles, because that's always going to work. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to tell you what I do, and then you can just copy me. I think that's always a cooler way to do it. So in the morning, every single morning, it's always wake up, fasted. You obviously fasted loose, come on. But you're going to fast in the morning because your need for food straight away is non-essential. You don't need to eat. You ate like 8 hours ago. There's no point eating, right? You want to run a small, maybe 2 to 4 hour period of autophagy, cellular cleansing, where you can actually rid all of the excess food within your bowels. And it's going to keep you light and tight, and it's going to put you into more of a fat adapted state. So you can actually, cleanse your system a little bit, feel lighter, evacuate the bowels, and not even put any focus on the food straight away. So you can get stuck into some deep work. You can have some obviously caffeine, some nicotine, some hydration. You can get in your, lion's mane. You can get in your Tonga Ali, your boron for your free testosterone. All these kind of supplements are great to have in the morning with your coffee and electrolytes to make sure cognitive performance is G'd up nice and sharp. So we're running on 0 calories first and foremost. And once we've done our AM process, just aligned a few bits and bobs in the morning with our diary, our planning, our assumptions, our mindset, we've done core priority tasks inside the business, and we can go train. We get some exercise in, 45 to 50 minute high frequency session, strength session, looking to build the physique. We're not going in and trashing ourselves. We're stimulating, not annihilating, because when you really want to have a lean, solid physique, you got to manage your recovery like no man's business. You want to be going into the gym and doing the minimal viable dose to build the physique you want. Yeah, you got to train to failure. Yeah, you got to get a lot stronger, but you shouldn't be putting yourself in the blender every single day and destroying yourself. What's going to happen is you're going to feel fatigued. You're going to get injuries. You're going to feel all tired and foggy, and you're probably going to have massive energy crashes later on during the day, and your appetite's going to spike massively because the need for more food will be there essentially. So once you've done your workout, you're fasting, you finish that workout up the road, you're maybe getting back to the pad, the villa, the penthouse, whatever, the compound. You want to have something that is going to digest extremely easily, right? And this could be eggs, it could be a smoothie, it could be ground beef with rice, it could be something that is going to give you roughly 30 to 60 grams of protein. It's going to be low-ish, just moderate amount of carbohydrates just to replenish some glycogen from the workout, but then more heavy on the fat. And I know a lot of bodybuilders say like, no, you don't want to have too much fat post-workout because it inhibits the ability to replenish glycogen, it slows it down. It's like, well, I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm in this game to feel fucking good. Okay, and you should be in this game to feel good too. You do want a lean, hard, marbled physique, yes, but you're not trying to step on the Mr. Olympia stage, so we can not really stress about that, okay? You want to be optimizing for competence. So once you've had that set meal in the morning, you're going to run again. You're going to run flowy for the rest of the day, and you're just going to focus on caffeine, hydration, sparkling water, any extra supplements you would need, maybe some L-tyrosine, just to buffer the caffeine intake so your brain doesn't get a bit fried. That can happen. That's why a lot of guys hit the 2 or 3 p.m. crash, because they're not dosing L-tyrosine with their caffeine, so they get a bit kind of jittery, a bit scatty. So you want to be utilizing some L-tyrosine, potentially more lion's mane extract to keep a nice chiller, calmer buzz of energy coming through consistently. Because you've had a good meal, you've trained, you've hydrated, you're maybe 2 or 3 liters of water deep, you've had some good macros coming in. When it comes to about 4 o'clock, this is when you want to have your first heavier dose of carbohydrates, because you've done so much deep work in the morning already. You'll have done quite a lot of the big needle moving, lever pulling exercises in terms of what you need to do to perform well in your work, your career, or your business, right? Because when you're a high potency guy, you care about energy, you care about being focused. That's why we have to eat for that, and that's why less food coming in will keep you from having that brain fog, in which we're all too aware about. So when you have your first main dense carbohydrate meal, this is when we're gonna get stuck in to like a proper meal. This is when you're going to be having your sweet potato, maybe some sourdough, maybe some steak, some chicken, some veggies, broccoli, some asparagus. You're going to have some, leafy greens along with that as well for fiber intake to slow down the digestion, so you stay fuller longer. But you want to be having food that essentially assimilates very well in the body. If you're having things like, cookies or snack bars or protein shakes or this, that and the other, you're going to feel it. It's going to break out your skin. You're going to feel indigestion. You're just not going to feel $100 million. But you want to have a nice whole nutrient dense meal. You want to probably operate from the standpoint of, if it comes from the trees, the seas, the ground or the field, then it's probably worthwhile eating. So your rices, your potato, your lean meats, your veggies, your fruits are all super good. You're having that meal, you're roughly getting about 100 grams of carbohydrates in, maybe about 60, 70 grams of protein and 20, 30 fat. So quite a dense meal there. And then you're back into some fluff work in the evening, the way we structure our days with the me work, the we work and the be work. So be work in the evening is just, picking up on loose tasks that have maybe carried over from the following day, or things that you want to catch up on that could benefit the business tomorrow. So with that as well, when you're doing your be work, it's like, you're fueled, you're fed, you're sweet. You don't need to be 100% high frequency and really hyper potent, but you've been hydrated, you've been caffeinated, you've ate well during the day, so you can pretty much grind for another 2-3 hours and get everything polished off nicely in a really high frequency, high energy state. And then you can have your final meal of the day around 7 or 8 p.m. when you're on the wind down. And your final meal of the day will essentially be a replicate of the previous meal you've just had. Rotate the protein servings, rotate the carb servings, whatever it might be, but again, the same principles apply. That'll be super worthwhile, because see, when you eat from the 80-20 rule, 80% whole nutrient dense food, 20% more fun flexible, which we'll get onto in a moment, you will have a better quality of life. You will feel better in your life. You'll have a better physique, there'll be less inflammation, less fatigue, you'll digest foods a lot easier, you'll have better skin health, better mental clarity. You will notice your articulation in daily tasks and projects day to day will just feel much, much better. So that's what I'd be opting for, a really whole nutrient dense meal strategy and plan with specific windows of time. That's what we do for clients inside VIP and CEOs. Make sure we find out when are they required to have the highest frequency work, and how can we time and strategize their meal timing around where they need to be eating certain foods to make sure they stay in the zone. Because guys, if let's say you're in sales, for example, no one's having 150 grams of oats and whey with peanut butter, dark chocolate and berries and doing a sales call. You'd be falling asleep. You'd be falling asleep. So if you want to mitigate the brain fog, mitigate the 2 or 3 p.m. crash, have great energy, then you got to make sure your meal timing's on point. You got to have a real system in place, and you got to be specific with where certain foods come in. And when you have that last meal, it's pretty much cut off time, and you most likely will have anywhere between 200 and 300 extra calories left, because you're pretty much having 2 big meals, 1 snack, and then you can have like your following extra wee treat here or there. And I have a treat every single night. I have, whether it be a cookie or like an ice lolly, an ice cream or something, 200 or 300 calories for a snack, could be some chocolate, whatever it may be. Because again, I live a flexible lifestyle. I'm not here to restrict myself of all God's amazing gifts. Enjoy sitting down at night time and having a little bit of what I fancy. And it's almost like a wee circuit breaker for the end of the day when I'm like, cool, I made it this far, I've done well, business went well, physique went well, all habits tracked, ticked off, high frequency day, we've done extremely potent work here. and surgical with everything I've done. Now I can apply a little bit of fun and fulfillment while I'm chilling with my partner, having some downtime, relaxing, getting the feet up. And it's like mission complete, job done, you know? And it's a strategy, it's a simple system. There's meal timing, there's meal values, there's a nice ratio between the carbs and the fats for energy performance and glycogen replenishment. I'm getting the quality amount of protein coming in, not just random trace protein from, you know, breads or wheys or protein bars. It's high quality, nutrient dense protein sources, good cuts from fish, chicken, steak, whatever it might be. And I'm hitting that 190, 200 grams on a daily basis on average. I'm not messing up with my diet either every single day. It's a clean cut, repeatable system that I can follow 5 or 6 times a week. You know, it's simple. I'm not going into MyFitnessPal every single day, like track this, do that. Like I literally get meal prep delivered every single day. One meal is a chicken, rice and sourdough meal. The other meal is a steak, potato and sourdough meal. Then I have an egg meal or a yogurt meal for my smaller post-workout snack with some fruit. And then in the evening, I have my snack of choice. It's very, very simple like that, bro. And when you have a set system like that and you're not emotionally attached to your food because you've actually repaired a relationship with yourself and you're not a little baby bitch boy that constantly needs a different diet or a different meal, then you're going to notice that you start moving forward in life much, much faster with effective doses of energy, a clearer cut, more calculated system with your food. And you don't really stress yourself out anymore trying to do these new diets or carnivore or keto or this or that. It's just a simple system, a framework that actually flows and works to optimize your digestive, energy and focus all through the day to make sure you're building a world-class physique that gives you the confidence, having massive levels of accuracy and potency within your business, and allows you to live a really fun, flexible lifestyle without sacrificing on eating like a fucking Karen, essentially. So it's a really simple system, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that and it gave you a bit of insight to how we would tend to do things. As always, guys, fucking destroy average, become undeniable, stop wasting your time sitting on the fence. If you're keen to get to work, there's always going to be a link below in the description if you want help with anything fitness, mindset, life related, or with your business. I'm always more than happy to consult on that in my WhatsApp. So just fill out the form, we'll chat there, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.